Today marks the beginning of Dementia Action Week, and Dementia Australia have released some statistics today that highlight, well, the seriousness of this problem that we face as a nation. Dementia is the biggest killer of women in Australia, the second biggest killer of Australians overall. And the focus this week has been specifically on discrimination that people with dementia face. With me now, Marie McCabe, the CEO of Dementia Australia. Thanks very much for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure.
And I was lucky enough to be with you guys this morning to talk about these issues at the launch event. What really rang through, talking to people with dementia, people who've been caring for parents and others with dementia, when we talk about discrimination, is just how pervasive and widespread the problem is. So give us a sense of the main areas of discrimination that we're talking about here.
It's such an important issue, David, and when people living with dementia, what they share with us is that when they share their diagnosis, people respond in ways where they may all of a sudden not involve them in conversation. So rather than directing a conversation to them, they direct it to their carer. It may be that all of a sudden they're excluded from social engagements. It may be that their workplace actually asks them to resign. And there's a lot of assumptions, a lot of myths around dementia, and we really want to disrupt those myths and shine a light on that people living with dementia are discriminated against, and we think that it's because people don't understand and that there are other ways that we can...
Well, I mean, there are a lot of myths, there are a lot of preconceptions, and, as I saw today, there are people with a diagnosis of dementia who are perfectly capable, perfectly able, perfectly intelligent.
Yeah.
They should not be socially isolated. And yet, we heard from one man who, even his GP, clearly, when giving him the diagnosis, said, you need to prepare your affairs, get your will ready. He struggled to find a GP even who would take him on.
Yeah.
Is the discrimination in the health, in the medical space, as much as anywhere else?
Look, it is. And again, it is a lack of understanding. And that's what we're trying to do, is shine a light on discrimination, raise awareness about dementia, and really show that people living with dementia can live positively for quite a period of time. And the more we enable them, the more we support them, the better they are to continue to live engaged in an environment that's important to them, to do the things that they love with the people they love.
Dementia is most prevalent amongst elderly, older Australians. What sort of discrimination do they face, particularly when we come to nursing homes, other care institutions? Are they facing discrimination there?
Absolutely, and it may be that they're not included in the activities that they used to be involved in, that they are isolated from the communities that were important to them, and also that things are not necessarily, in some places, set up to support people living with dementia. So there's still myths in aged care about people living with dementia, and unfortunately it's not yet core business.
Look, we heard about taxi drivers refusing to take people with dementia if they have an assistance dog or whatever. It just goes right across the board. What can be done about this? What will Dementia Australia be doing to change some of the community attitudes, educate, I suppose, society that you don't need to be scared of someone with dementia?
Absolutely, and Dementia Action Week is all about, the theme is dementia does not discriminate to you, and we've got an online survey and we encourage all Australians to participate in this. We want to raise awareness about what discrimination looks like, why people do it. We think that it's unthinking and they don't know what else to do, and we also want to know what is the impact on people living with dementia, their families and their carers. So we are committed to a societal shift about the way we think, about the way we talk, and about the way we respond to people living with dementia.
So how do you cut through with that message, though? How do you actually make people realise that they may be, without knowing it, discriminating against, the growing number of people with dementia?
Look, we've got to get to the grassroots of this. We've got to understand why people do it, and then we've got to be able to respond to the data. And I think that's really important, to get a really sound body of data where we can actually then interpret that and then make sure that what we provide is a response that speaks to people, that inspires people, and that has people understand dementia is a disease of the brain, and that there is a lot that we can do to support people living with dementia, to engage them in the community, and to ensure that we're inclusive in our response.
All right, well, Marie McCabe from Dementia Australia, we look forward to seeing how that survey goes, and wish you well with the response to it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, David.
All right, we're going to